What is going on, Gridiron fans? I am the Gridiron Guy, and this is my mock draft madness. Alright, now that the Super Bowl is over, and I don't know about you guys, the Super Bowl was not exciting, but I definitely enjoyed watching Pat Mahomes run for his life. It wasn't really, it wasn't really much of a game at all. Tampa Bay just destroyed the Chiefs. But being a Raiders fan, I enjoyed it. Even if that means Tom Brady has to win another Super Bowl. But put in the comments below, did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What did you think of the Super Bowl? Me personally, I enjoyed it. Alright, now that the Super Bowl is officially over, it is officially the offseason, okay? If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button below. Really helps out the channel a lot. Also, if you enjoy this video, enjoy this content, give me a thumbs up, give me a like. Also, now that it is the offseason, I'm going to be doing right now in this video, I'm going to be doing a 2-round mock draft. Just to kind of see what's there. Alright? So we're going to do a 2-round mock draft. No trades. Next week, I'm probably going to do a one round with trades. Just to kind of see what's going on there. So, with all that being said, let's get started. Alright. So first things first, we all know Trevor Lawrence is going to the Jags. Okay, so Trevor Lawrence going to the Jags. Now, there's been a lot of talks that the Jets they're not exactly shopping Darnold, but they are entertaining, trade offers. He's not off the table, but they're not pushing him around the table, So, they are taking calls, but they're not exactly, making those calls themselves. But I definitely think something gets done with Sam Darnold, and I think the Jets are going to take Zach Wilson. It'd be crazy not to start over with a guy like Zach Wilson. Like, okay, yeah, you have Sam Darnold there, but to sit at number 2, give up Sam Darnold, maybe get a second and a fourth for him, or third and a fourth for him, a third and a fifth. If you could pick up 2 draft picks for Sam Darnold, even if they're later picks, the Jets are going to be in great position because they are going to got 2 first-round picks, and they have the number 2 overall pick. If they can get the number 2 or if they can stay where they're at in the number 2 overall pick and take Zach Wilson, I think that's a heck of a move also. And honestly, if they want to keep Darnold and just start drafting around him, I like that idea as well. All right, moving along. I think Zach Wilson would be a good move. All right, so the Dolphins. Man, the more I'm thinking about this, like I said all season, Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver in this draft. And although I think he is very talented, I'm starting to think he's more like a 1B. Even though he is... What he did 2 years ago for the national... on that national championship team was amazing. I think Jamar Chase kind of hurt himself by not playing this year. Even though, he's still sitting here in the top 5. But I think Devontae Smith passed him. Devontae Smith went out and won a Heisman, while Jamar Chase was sitting at home, basically, or, working out, getting ready for the draft. Whatever. Devontae Smith was winning a Heisman. So, Devontae Smith to the Dolphins, that's a reconnection with Tua. I'm starting to think that's a much better fit. And it's good for the Dolphins, it's good for Tua, it's good for Devontae Smith. He's going to be featured there. He's going to be the guy. Alright. So now, the next thing, the Falcons on the clock. And I think the Falcons go Justin Fields. Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence off the board. I do think the Eagles want to pick up a quarterback for the future. Also, Justin Fields also has that Georgia connection. And general consensus is Justin Fields is second or third best quarterback in this draft. So they want to go quarterback. Justin Fields is sitting there. Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence off the board. Justin Fields is your best option. I do like Trey Lance, and I think Trey Lance is much closer to Justin Fields than a lot of people give him credit for. Unfortunately, Trey Lance's body of work is actually small. He's got one season, and it was a sophomore season at that. So they're not giving him a whole lot of credit, even though he probably will find himself as a top 10, top 15 pick in this draft, in reality. All right, moving on. Bengals, it's got to be offensive line. It's either got to be Slater or Sewell. And I think either one gives you the same thing. And what I mean by that is either one of these guys could play tackle or could eventually move into guard. I've heard a lot of people say Slater's arm length isn't that big, so he may have some trouble as a tackle, but he will make a great guard. Same thing with Penei Sewell. He's more of a size. He's more built like a guard. 325 pounds just coming down on these D tackles. It's just crazy. So either one of these guys is a good offensive lineman, and that's what the Bengals need. They just need a good offensive lineman. Will they play tackle? Probably. Jonah Williams probably moved to right tackle. These other guys will come in, play left tackle, and, see how things go. Maybe they're playing left guard in a couple of years, but it doesn't matter. They will improve the offensive line, and that's what the Bengals need. All right, I'm going to try and speed this up a little bit more now. All right, so we have the Eagles on the clock, and the Eagles got to get some juice. They got to go Jamar Chase. All right. Now, the Lions, for whatever reason, the Lions are convinced that they're going forward with Goff, which, if you're in a rebuild, I don't understand why you would take out a $40 million quarterback, $35 million, whatever his contract is. I don't really know the specifics, but I know it's a lot of money. Can't add anybody else when you got a quarterback eating up a quarter of your cap. If they're convinced they're going with Goff, then he's going to need some weapons because he had a ton of weapons on the Rams. I'm going to say Jaylen Waddle. Even if Goff is not the answer after this year, which I honestly think that's what they should do, I don't understand why you would. I don't understand the trade on the Lions' end unless they cut Goff and his money at the end of next year. That's the only reason I understand it. All right. So, all right, so I think the Panthers are gonna. I don't think they're gonna move on from Teddy Bridgewater, but we all know that, no pun intended, Teddy Bridgewater was a bridge quarterback, and I think Trey Lance to the Panthers is a huge, huge move. So now we have the Broncos on the clock, and I think I can't really pass up Caleb Farley. The Broncos he's just the best fit. And I think what I'm going to do in my next mock draft is I'm going to mix things up a little bit. I'm going to maybe take, instead of taking a player that I would normally take to a team, I'm going to mix it up and I'm going to take maybe an off player or, best player available or something like that. for some teams and just kind of mix up this order a little bit. But I'll do that in my next video. I just want to get like a grounding of what's there and what we could be going for now that the draft is set. Okay? And I think Cowboys have to get better on defense and basically in their secondary. You partner Patrick Surtain back with Trayvon Diggs. So moving on. And I think at this point in the draft, number 11, I think the Giants can't afford to pass up Micah Parsons. All right. So now we have the 49ers on the clock. And Sherman's, it's like a 90% chance Sherman moves on. Or, I don't know if Sherman would retire. But I definitely think their option is to get a younger corner in J.C. Horn. Now, J.C. Horn, he's a big physical dude. I keep hearing that he's Joe Horn's son. Yeah. Okay, so it says here, the son of 4-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Joe Horn. So he is Joe Horn's son. Okay. But, yeah, I mean, he's big, physical. He's got an NFL pedigree. His father was an NFL player. Pretty good one at that. So, if some of you don't know who Joe Horn is, then maybe you should Google that. Joe Horn. Joe Horn pops up. He was one of the first guys to use a prop in a celebration, other than T.O. But, yeah, this dude pops a cell phone out, puts it to his ear, got fined. Alright, but that's Joe Horn. Anyway, let's move on. So, the Chargers, I think the Chargers have to go Rashawn Slater here. Yeah. And then the Vikings, same thing. I mean, we got Christian Dursaw right here. Rashawn Slater, Christian Dursaw. This draft is pretty deep at offensive line. It's pretty deep. You're going to be getting good quality offensive linemen in the second and third round. Much like last year. Last year was a pretty deep offensive line draft. Do I think Kyle Pitts falls this far? I actually do. But he definitely doesn't fall past here. If he's sitting there, I think Bill Belichick takes him every time. Alright, Cardinals, I think they get after the quarterback with Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye in the teens is a good move. Alright. Now, this next pick, yes, I am a Raiders fan. Shout out to my favorite player of all time, Charles Woodson, going to the Hall of Fame. Alright. Sorry, there's a quick plug right there. Alright. And I would make this pick. I'm really starting to like this guy. I like a couple players on the board. I like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. But with Gus Bradley coming in as the defensive coordinator, just think about some of the mismatches that a guy like Zaven Collins could create. So now we have the Dolphins back on the clock, and I think the Dolphins take JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Alright. So now we have Washington football team on the clock. Okay, so what I think Washington football team does is they get a tackle, a right tackle in Samuel Cosmi. They can always grab a wide receiver in free agency to go with Terry McLaurin. But if they draft a good tackle here, solid right tackle in Samuel Cosmi. Alright, so now another right tackle is going to go off the board, and that's Jalen Mayfield. Bears need a right tackle. Jalen Mayfield and Samuel Cosmi are true right tackles. They're probably not going to play anything else but right tackle. They're solid tackles, but they're just going to play right tackle. Okay, so moving on. I think the Colts, if they miss out on a quarterback, I think they go out and they get Mac Jones. I think if Mac Jones falls this far, they take him. All right, let's keep it going here. And I think that the Titans' best fit is Joseph Asai. He's an edge, 3-4 outside linebacker. You know, he's a good, solid fit. The Jets are going to go wide receiver. They're going to take Rashad Bateman. Okay? And I think it's a good move. You get your future quarterback in Zach Wilson, and then you automatically get him a weapon. Let's keep going here. I think the Steelers need to go out and get a beast at running back. You know, it's very apparent that since they lost Le'Veon Bell, they haven't been able to run the ball. Period. But Najee Harris, this guy is a day one starter. He is just a monster. Great ball skills, catch the ball out of the backfield, big physical runner, runs behind his pads. He's a perfect Steeler fit. Okay? Alright, so moving on. I think the Jaguars here could take, you know, they got Trevor Lawrence. So why don't they take Pat Freiermuth? They already have some wide receiver weapons there. They have a running back. But if they were able to get a versatile tight end who is good at blocking, is good at running routes, he's big, he's lean, you know, he can high point the ball. Now we have the Browns on the clock. And the Browns have to go Gregory Rousseau. And just like that, I think the Ravens go Jalen Phillips. You know, these are two teams that could use some edge help. Olivier Vernon is probably going to be a free agent. Or he is a free agent. He's probably going to move on. Gregory Rousseau would fit right in there. So now we have the Saints on the clock. The Saints could benefit by getting a solid middle linebacker / off-the-ball linebacker, however you want to put him, Nick Bolton. This guy's a tackling machine. I was watching some video on him. He is just a tackling machine. Always knows where the ball is, too. He can find he's got a nose for the football. All right. So now the Packers, even though they don't traditionally do it, they should. And I think they go out and they get Terrace Marshall. They don't traditionally get wide receivers in the first round, but they should. They should. Or maybe offensive line, because they had a hard time blocking that Bucs defense. But a lot of people have all year. All right. I think the Bills could benefit by getting a guy like Elijah Vera-Tucker. Because, you know, Elijah Vera-Tucker can play. He can play multiple spots on the offensive line. All right, and now the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Chiefs, after watching that Super Bowl, I think it's apparent that the Chiefs need offensive line. I don't think they can afford to go just grab themselves another weapon. You know, they need to bolster that offensive line. I understand that they were missing both of their tackles, but their guards are bad as well. It's worked to this point, but they definitely got exposed in that Super Bowl. Alright, so now the defending champion Buccaneers on the clock. And I think the Buccaneers just go out and they bolster that defensive line even more. I believe Sue signed a 1-year deal. I think they go Christian Barmore. The Jags need offensive line. Like, offensive line and depth players on defense from here on out. Okay? And pretty good tackle is still on the board, Liam Eichenberg. Alright. So now that the Jets got themselves some weapons, they got a huge weapon in Zach Wilson. They went and got Rashad Bateman. I think they go out and they get some edge help. Azeez Ojulari. You know, Robert Saleh did say that he wants to go to a 4-man front. He said that, you know, he has a belief in it. Alright, so now I think the Dolphins go Travis Etienne. Alright, I think the Falcons need some edge help. I think they go Jason Owa. Alright, Bengals on the clock. Bengals go Tevin Jenkins. They just need to improve that offensive line. You know, and now they've done it. You know, 2 offensive linemen. The Eagles had a guy named Asante Samuel back in the day who played corner for them. And the Eagles' biggest need right now, other than wide receiver, is corner. They got a wide receiver in the first round in Jamar Chase, so now they come back and they get a guy, Asante Samuel. Maybe they could even give him his dad's number. I don't know if it's available. I don't even know that. But wouldn't that be cool? So now the Lions. Still an interesting pick here. Their linebacking core hasn't been the greatest over the years. I think a guy like Dylan Moses. The Panthers can't go linebacker, but they just need to go defense. And Eric Stokes is sitting here. Best defensive player on the board. Alright. Got the Broncos on the clock. They're going to take Baron Browning. They kind of remind me of A.J. Hawk. A.J. Hawk was a great Ohio State linebacker. Alright, so the Cowboys on the clock. And I think they have to go Dylan Raduns. Alright, we got the New York Football Giants on the clock. And the Giants, you know, Kadarius Toney's sitting here. The Giants could do themselves some good by getting a guy like Kadarius Toney. This San Francisco 49ers on the clock. And I think the 49ers need to grab offensive line at this point. And I think they go Wyatt Davis. Okay, so Justin Herbert had a hard time with protection last year. And I think, just like the Bengals, they go out and they just bolster that offensive line. You know, we went Christian Dursaw, right? No. They went Rashawn Slater. But Rashawn Slater, now Landon Dickerson. I think the Jags need to go Aaron Robinson. Alright. I believe, you know, we got Rondell Moore here. I think the Patriots can't afford to pass him up. I think the Cardinals go best player available. It's kind of something they've done in the past. And I think they go Javonte Williams. And I think the Raiders need to go best player available right here and take Trayvon Moehrig. So now we got the Dolphins on the clock. And since the Dolphins have addressed everything else at this point, I think it's fine for them to go Creed Humphrey. You know, Creed Humphrey, probably a center, but you could also bump him to guard. You know, but he's going to help that offensive line out. You got two of some weapons. You got a guy on defense in Koromoa. Now you get some protection up front. All right. So now we have Washington football team. Now let's say Washington football team actually doesn't get one of these quarterbacks in this whole quarterback frenzy, which I think they might not. So I think what they go out and do is they bring in Kyle Trask. All right, one thing that the Bears need is wide receiver. You're going to be losing Allen. All right, so they're going to be losing Allen. Bring in a guy like Nico Collins. This guy is big. 6'4", 215. He's just a monster. High point the ball. Possession receiver. Could be a deep threat. He's solid number 2 or second round pick. So now we're looking at the Titans. Titans need to go Javion Nixon. All right, now we have the Seahawks on the clock for the first time. And I think what they really need is edge help. I think the Seahawks go out and get Carlos Basham, Boogie Basham. Steelers on the clock, and the Steelers need to improve that offensive line. That O-line is getting old big time. They just need to start throwing pieces at it. Start at least getting younger. I think they go Trey Smith. The Rams, I think the Rams go Deo Odeyingbo, edge rusher at a Vanderbilt. Say that 5 times fast. All right. So the Browns on the clock. Browns did some good things this year. Now it's time to build on that and get themselves some help to get back there. And I just really like Tyson Campbell. Ravens on the clock. The Ravens need to improve that offensive line, and I think they go Deontay Brown. Saints on the board. And I think the Saints take Greg Newsome. All right, Packers on the clock. I think the Packers take P. Werner. They took like I said, they took a guy back in the day, A.J. Hawk. So now we have the Bills on the clock. I think the Bills take one of my favorite guys, and that's Cameron McGrone. Chiefs on the board. And the Chiefs could go Dwayne Eskridge. Said it wrong. All right. So now we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Won the championship. Won the Super Bowl. Man. I think I want to go D-line but they already got D-line in the first round. But I'm going to go Tertarius Atwell. Or Tutu Atwell. Because they're going to need some wide receivers there. Alright, everybody. Did you enjoy this mock draft? If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. Click the little bell so you can get future notifications of all videos. I hope you enjoyed this video. And I am the Gridiron Guy, and I am out.